yeah, it's just been checking the news every 5 minutes, trying to make sure that our house is still there.
A historic wildfire in Boulder County, tearing down homes in its path.
To see a whole community, Mountain Ridge and part of Foothills Ranch just completely gone is devastating.
Tonight, as Boulder County residents wait and hope for the best, the Calwood fire is now forcing schools in the area to shut down.
Plus, volunteering to work on the front lines.
Some guys today were actively engaging the fire. Others were preparing structures nearby in case the fire moved in that direction.
The fire crews working around the clock to protect homes in Larimer County, sharing their experience as the Cameron Peak fire continues to grow at this hour.
In the past 2 days, we've been able to have some success against the fire. We'd sure all like to have some snow.
Winds are still gusting in the mountains and foothills tonight, but coming up, I'll let you know when there's rain and snow.
Tonight, there are more than 10 wildfires burning across our state. Hundreds of thousands of acres in our Colorado have been destroyed. Dozens of homes, thousands of people forced to leave their valuables in their homes, and thousands more are in the fire's path.
And tonight, we continue to monitor the Cameron Peak fire in Larimer County. That is the largest wildfire on record in Colorado. The Calwood fire and Left Hand Canyon fire in Boulder County, and the East Troublesome fire burning in Grand County.
We have live team coverage for you. Denver7's Gary Bro talking to volunteer firefighters at the Cameron Peak fire who are working tirelessly to fight these flames.
Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson, of course, keeping an eye on the winds. We're going to start with Denver7's Sloan Dickey live in Boulder County at the Calwood fire. Sloan?
And we'll start here with the good news on the Calwood fire. It's only grown slightly in the past 24 hours, just over 300 acres, where it now sits at about 9,100 acres. The light wind and relative humidity has helped the crews kind of gain a hold on some of these flames. However, the evacuation areas have also remained in effect. And we just learned that 2 schools, Gold Hill and Jamestown Elementary Schools, are closed this week because they are sitting in between the Left Hand Canyon fires and the Calwood fires. Jamestown sits in between those areas. I spoke with several evacuated families here in Boulder earlier. They say they are anxious until they can get home.
We're just kind of checking out to see where the burn is.
Families evacuated from the Calwood fire watching and waiting.
We are in Crestview Estates, which is this hill right here.
And hoping that their homes will be spared.
We live right here. So this was the burn radius. If it had jumped Left Hand Canyon, it would have come straight up into our neighborhood.
At least 26 structures, all homes, were lost in the fire. Damage assessment teams were back out today. Fortunately, they found no additional homes were lost or damaged.
To see a whole community, Mountain Ridge and part of Foothills Ranch just completely gone is devastating.
Because of higher humidity and calm winds today, crews were able to slow the fire, growing only minimally from its size on Sunday.
I trust that they're doing the best they can and doing everything they can to keep our community safe.
The flames and smoke subside.
COVID, so you can't really go anywhere, and now, but you can't go home.
Onlookers anxiously await to return home. Now, just to give you a reference, on Saturday night, the hills behind me were on fire. Now those flames are relatively subdued. We've seen a little bit of spread since we got here earlier this evening of some of those embers and flames up on the hills. Now, officials tell me that the ground in this area is extremely dry, which will be very dangerous for the fire crews as they continue to battle these flames. In Boulder County, Sloan Dickey, Denver7.
All right, Sloan. In Larimer County, the Cameron Peak fire, crews have been working since August. And you can see, gosh, look at that wind and the smoke there. And like the Calwood fire, people have lost their homes in this one. Structures have been destroyed.
And this fire remains the largest wildfire on record in Colorado, scorching more than 204,000 acres. It is 51% contained. And the good news, no evacuation orders were issued today in the area.
Denver7's Gary Bro joins us live along Highway 34. You're just west of Loveland. And Gary, you spoke to volunteer firefighters who are giving us an inside look at just how they are working there.
Yeah, and Shannon, they had just called it a night a couple of hours ago. Several from the Glen Fire Department right now who are volunteers. They are out here fighting to save their town.
largest fire we've ever seen.
Glen Fire Chief Kevin Zagorda and his crew are on the most important assignment of their life.
We've been talking about it and training and getting ready for it, but at the moment it came, it was a little scary.
Last week, the Cameron Peak Fire spread to their own backyard.
We're also evacuated from our homes right now.
The 15 volunteer members have been at it for nearly a week.
It's hard on the families because, we're out there working hard all day long and they have to hold down the fort. Spouses don't spend much time together these days.
Putting in 14-hour days from sunup to sundown, eating dinner together before it's time to go back to their hotels.
I'd like to be able to say we didn't lose any structures, but we did lose several.
Chief Zagorda says saving structures is their top priority.
And I saw multiple homes in the past 2 days where the fire was entirely surrounding the home. Everything was black, and the home was standing like nothing happened.
The fight is difficult.
The first 2 days, it was hard to feel good about it because it was so overwhelming.
But Zagorda and his crew have hope, determined to save their homes.
And then when the winds finally died down, in the past 2 days, we've been able to go on direct attack and take it to the fire instead of the fire taking it to us.
And to give you a few updates here, we mentioned we're over here on Highway 34. It is back open between Loveland and Estes Park. Highway 36 over between Lyons and Estes Park also remains open. Now, a fire official tells me Highway 14 will remain closed for the time being until they can make it safe and restore the power. Reporting live here right outside of Loveland, Gary Brode, Denver7.
Gary, thank you. And a member of Governor Jared Polis's cabinet is now on the front lines, helping crews fight the flames at the Cameron Peak Fire. Dan Gibbs is the executive director of the Colorado Department of Natural Resources. He's also a wildland firefighter. He was deployed to the front lines over the weekend. Wildlife starting to return to their natural habitat near the Cameron Peak Fire. These pictures were taken by Loveland Fire Rescue at the Bobcat Ridge Natural Area today. Beautiful, yet tough to see them back on charred land.
Absolutely. Thousands of fire crews all over the state are all hoping for the same thing, some moisture.
Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson's here. Mike, please, will we get any relief anytime soon?
Within the next 5 to 7 days, yes, but in the next 2 days, no. The winds are still gusty up on the ridgetops, 31 miles an hour. Estes Park, 25 at Netherland, 48 at Berthoud Pass. So even if the winds are light where you live, they are strong and gusty off to the west of us up into the mountains and foothills. A lot of smoke coming off this view from our Viero camera in Alt earlier today. You can still see some of the smoke coming in off of those fires to the west. And air quality advisories are in effect across most of the Front Range because of all of that smoke from the fires. But there is a little bit of hope in sight. Not much moisture next couple of days, elevated fire danger, poor air quality. However, a colder storm is coming up over the weekend that should bring snow to many of the fire areas and sharply colder temperatures. I'll have details on that in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Mike. In Grant County, the East Troublesome Fire has grown to more than 13,000 acres. It is 10% contained. Over the weekend, FEMA authorized the use of federal funds to help cover most of the firefighting costs. The cause is still under investigation. And the Left Hand Canyon fire burning near Ward in Boulder County remains at 320 acres. It is only 4% contained. And because of this fire and the Calwood fire, Boulder Reservoir remains closed. That area is being used as an operations center and as a campsite for firefighters.
So many of you have reached out asking how you can help these fire victims. So that is exactly why we're launching a brand new fundraising campaign through Denver7 Gives. You can head over to thedenverchannel.com, click Denver7 Gives. Then under the drop-down menu, you'll find Help Colorado Wildfire Victims. We're working with our community partners up and down the Front Range to ensure that those fire victims who have already lost so much get much needed support. And we also want to say a big thank you to all the fire crews working across the state to help get these fires under control.
Right now, the city of Aurora is discussing whether to approve a ban on no-knock warrants. They've been at the center of debate since Breonna Taylor's death. The warrants allow a police officer to show up to a business or residence unannounced and enter to serve a warrant. They don't have to knock or identify themselves. The city councilor who introduced the plan for a ban, Angela Lawson, called those warrants unnecessary. Denver7 found Aurora police only used no-knock warrants about 10 times in the last few years, and they only entered 5 times.
Another 200,000 Coloradans voted on Friday and over the weekend, bringing the total ballots cast in the state to more than 640,000. Now, the actual number submitted could be even higher because some counties don't process ballots over the weekend. 43% of those returned so far are Democrats, 22% Republicans, the rest are unaffiliated, and Election Day is 2 weeks from tomorrow. Also, a quick reminder, the final presidential debate will be this Thursday, 90 minutes long from Nashville. Late today, the Commission on Presidential Debates announced they will mute microphones to allow Trump and Biden to answer questions for 2 uninterrupted minutes. The debate starts at 7 o'clock right here on Denver7. We'll also be streaming the debate on our Denver7 apps for Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Android devices.
Make me sad and, worry a lot.
Trying to keep his restaurant afloat through third-party apps.
When we receive a check, it was like, what? We did not, we sell more than that.
Food delivery was supposed to be the COVID-era lifeline for restaurants, and one owner tonight is praying the city makes changes to keep that lifeline from drowning his American dream.
More coronavirus cases and more changes to a school district's plan to get students back in the classroom.
Coming up, there's some cold air in our forecast future and even a chance for snow.